News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
So Jon Stewart is back at it. Remember last year he went and spoke about the 9/11 fund and very passionate about that. And he is back again with a slightly different angle. Of course, the former host of The Daily Show back in D.C. in support of a new bill supporting sick veterans. The bill, called the Presumptive Benefits for Warfighters Exposed to Burn Pits and Other Toxins Act of 2020, they're going to have to think of an acronym, is aimed to helping veterans who were exposed to harmful fumes that came from burn pits. I wasn't familiar with what a burn pit was. So just in case you didn't know, a burn pit refers to an area of a deployed military base devoted to open air combustion of waste. So these guys, he says at the beginning of the speech, though we have a different clip, but saying like, well, we're back again. We're back again, but for, and basically for the same reason that obviously for the 9/11 fund, these guys were around toxic burning material and these veterans are around toxic burning material. So here's a clip from his speech.
We dug burn pits, some of them 10 acres. They burned 24/7. Everything, every hazardous waste was piled into them. And what's the common ingredient? Jet fuel. Jet fuel as the accelerant at ground zero, jet fuel as the accelerant in these burn pits. And so our veterans lived 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, next to toxic smoke, dioxins, everything. And now they're being told, hey man, is that stuff bad for you? I don't know. We don't have the science. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's about money. And we're here today to say we're not going to let this happen in the dark.
This guy's not funny.
That was all a setup. I didn't get to the punchline.
Barely grinned.
It's weird because everyone is wearing masks behind him because of COVID-19, but he's talking about toxic fumes. It almost looks like they're on a theme. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're wearing the mask like symbolically as he's talking about the toxic fumes from the burn pits. Yeah, you think about waging a war or having a presence somewhere. You always think about bullets and fighting and explosions, but what about all the food? What about all the waste? I mean, what about, it's not like they flushed a toilet and it goes into the municipal system. Like all they bring, all of the waste, all the infrastructure, all the meals, all of it. It's got to go somewhere. And, I've heard about these before. It seems bizarre that, you have the Army Corps of Engineers. So you put these pits somewhere and you burn all your waste and all your trash. It seems insane that there wasn't some thought of, well, what if the wind blows this way and it's just blowing it right back down into the barracks, so to speak. Like, did they have some engineering, some thought, some discussion? I mean, it's got to be something, right? You couldn't just do that.
I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. They're going to listen to this show can understand that. But it would not surprise me if there was some sort of kicking the can down the road. Like, of course, it would be shocking to me if they didn't know that this was toxic, and people shouldn't be around it. But at the same time, it's either got to be done or it's cost effective to get it done. And they're just like, we'll deal with it 10, 20 years. Here we are 19 years later after 9/11. We'll just deal with it 20 years down the road. I can get behind that.
Yeah, well everyone, you don't have to be a toxicologist to figure out that burn, trash and jet fuel and whatever are, but they must design them with some thoughts. They can't just put them right there. Well, anyway, all right. Well, one more thing to be depressed about.
Yeah, and I didn't think, a year or two ago I would have said this, but between the 9/11 fund and this, which is in full support of veterans and troops, is Jon Stewart the last and only great uniter of the country? I mean, he's a super progressive dude that cares about firefighters and the military and the people fighting to protect this country. And he's loud about it.
And he's probably a handful of guys that could get Bruce Springsteen to play the benefit concert and Dave
sure.
Chappelle to play. Like, he could probably get anybody he wanted to do this big, Farm Aid-esque concert thing that we can't have now, but he could raise a lot of dough for this. So good for him. He's a very sincere, he's a very earnest guy. It's actually even funny sometimes that guys like this do comedy for a living when you know their actual personality traits. Right. Very earnest, very concerned, very sort of a little angry sometimes, passionate other times. None of it really feels, how did so much great comedy come out of this vessel? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's not the only hero. I want to make sure we're not, we're giving everyone credit where credit is due. He goes and speaks before Congress. He backs the military and the firefighters and fights, day in and day out to make sure they get what they need. But also celebrities are going on a Facebook freeze for 24 hours. So I want to make sure everybody gets credit for being a hero.
I was in the airport in Nashville a million years ago this morning, and I was just staring up at Kim Kardashian is going to lock out her Facebook on a 24-hour freeze because she cares. And I was just like, oh, God, it's just everywhere all the time. And I guess that's the business. That's her business.
Well, let me give you a little extra info. So Kim Kardashian, Mark Ruffalo, Leonardo DiCaprio, Katy Perry, the list goes on and on of celebrities plan to freeze Facebook and Instagram for 24 hours to protest the spread of hate speech and misinformation on those platforms. The protest, which will go down today as you hear this, is part of the Stop Hate for Profit campaign being organized by the NAACP and the Anti-Defamation League, among other groups. The campaign is calling for the removal of Facebook groups that promote violence and posts that promote misinformation. And she tweeted, because I guess you can still tweet, I don't know. I love that I can connect directly with you through Instagram and Facebook, but I can't sit by and stay silent while these platforms continue to allow the spread of hate, propaganda, and misinformation created by groups to sow division and split America apart, only to take steps after people are killed. So it's going to be a quiet day.
I saw hers followed by DiCaprio's about 7:15 this morning at the on CNN airport, whatever. I was trying to charge my phone, and I was looking at DiCaprio, and I'm like, is he doing this so he can just keep fucking 24-year-old dingbats, or does he really mean all that what he says? Because he's got to be 40-something now. Like, he's not a kid anymore. Like, how old is DiCaprio?
He's
45.
He's what?
He's 45.
He's 45. If you read his, it just sounds like, I want to fuck 23-year-olds. So I got to come on the right side of everything.
Was him fucking 23-years ever called into question or in jeopardy?
Supply.
No, but as the years wear on, you get on the wrong side of a subject. Yeah, I don't know. You may graduate to a 28-year-old, and then where would you be?
Dark
Bite
days.
your tongue.
Yes. So I was just looking at him, going, "You're old, like you're old, like again, like adults, like when your parents, when you were in the 9th grade, or your school teachers, like those are adults. That's DiCaprio is now that dude. Do you have his Maxipana, or you can find it? I just spotted it in the airport lounge."
And I think it always feels like saying something's to raise awareness is the black hole of just doing nothing, of laziness. Like, okay, we're aware, but what needle does this move? Because your sponsors aren't getting a day of advertising to your fans, or what exactly does this mean?
Well, it's kind of like we're kind of talking about, like if Jon Stewart gets on the phone with Bruce Springsteen and he agrees to play the concert, then everyone else realizes that guy's in and that guy's in. Now I need to be in, because who wouldn't want to be with Kim Kardashian and Kardashian and Leonardo DiCaprio? So I don't know what it does. I think
that concert would raise money.
Well, that would do something. You're right, but this is a notion of, I'm not going to say no to something that these people already said yes to because these people are billionaires and household names.
It's like when everyone, celebrities included, posted a black box on their social media, whatever it was.
Right.
I don't know if it was 6 months ago. I don't know if it was 16 months ago. Whatever it was. I don't know what that accomplished. I don't know what that was for.
I think it was that day. It was a day that everyone was supposed to do something, and I just woke up and I was looking at my tweets, and somebody said like thank you or said something really nice about they think I look like a great step parent and I'm really doing a great job. And I said, thank you. That was so nice. I really appreciate it. Then I got an angry tweet immediately saying, Gina, no one's supposed to tweet today. Read the room. So people get very angry about these things.
Do you have Leo's? You want Dawson to read Leo's? Dawson's got to move, but I think he's got that.
I'm standing with this country's leading civil rights organizations, including Color of Change, Anti-Defamation League, and the NAACP, who today have called on all users of Instagram and Facebook to protest the amplification of hate, racism, and the undermining of democracy on those platforms. I do use Instagram and Facebook, but I want it to be a force for good, not hate, violence, and disinformation. This should be an opportunity for Facebook to work with these organizations and the community at large to make it a better, safer platform for all. Please join me in not posting for 24 hours this Wednesday, September 16th. Hashtag Stop Hate for Profit. Hashtag InstaFreeze.
Now,
is there
I'm
getting a little bit of it.
Yeah, is there any chance he constructed that himself? No.
They sent that for him to,
went like, yeah, good. Here we go.
Okay, so I see. So, I mean, whether it works or whatever, it's they're amplifying the NAACP and the Anti-Defamation League, saying we got these big names behind us, and they're not going to be using your service until you deal with us.
Got to deal with
the hate. Did I get that directly? I think so.
A lot of hate.
Negotiating ploy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least that makes more sense. You know how I hate a broken silence. People who break their silence, nobody's ever waiting around wanting to hear anything they have to say.
Oh, wait a minute. What do we hate? A broken silence or an open letter?
I personally, I hate a broken silence. I like a good open letter. I mean, they're fun to read. I don't give a shit. You can't break a silence that no one was waiting for you to break.
I don't know. I don't like either one of those two. I don't like the open letter people, and I don't like the broken silence people.
I'm still stuck on resurfaced.
Resurfaced, unearthed. I have enough hate for all three of them.
Okay, good. Well, I finally have an exception to the rule because I think plenty of people have been waiting for Chris Evans to break his silence for the last, 4 days. Because he was laying real low.
He broke condoms.
And hanging low. So he finally, he didn't want to, but he did address it because Tamron Hall made him. Avengers star Chris Evans appeared on the Tamron Hall show Tuesday and sort of addressed the dick pic, which seemed to have accidentally, reared its head over the weekend on his verified Instagram account.
Reared its ugly head.
Not ugly.
Not so ugly.
She wouldn't let him out of it. She, kept teasing him, and this is the exchange.
Chris, how are you feeling? I mean, you've used this to get our eyes on something that is more important.
Yeah, that's called turning a frown upside down, Cameron. It was an interesting weekend full of lessons learned, a lot of teachable moments. Things happen. It's embarrassing. You got to roll with the punches. I will say I have some pretty fantastic fans who really came to my support.
Yes, they did.
That was really, really nice.
Well, I am one of those fans. I'm one of those fans. I'm here for the journey.
For the journey. Cock-based journey. Top vein mount journey. She's there for the journey. She's not one of those short haul dick pic
She's
gals.
There for the ride.
She's there for the ride. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I got Chris's Coach snack pack.
Came in a Ziploc?
Comes in a zip. He didn't even get a box.
Yeah, I know.
That's hurtful.
He doesn't get a box. He only got the mini water, the Cheez-Its, and the Delta
biscuit cookies.
The Biscoff.
Oh, those are
the
good.
Biscuit cookies.
Oh,
they are good.
So this just all this is carbs and some filtered water.
Adam, I was thinking too. Last night you were doing an event for Nissan, and you had a script on you, and
This is funny. I said it was right before the show. I did this thing for Nissan, and they did an unveiling of their Z car, and they were doing it simultaneously with the unveiling was happening in Japan, which is at about, I did my thing at 8 at night. It was like 10 a.m. in Japan or whatever, and they're doing this worldwide unveiling. So this is a very important thing, this big Z-Con event, but there's also other important things going on tonight, which is, do we eat at Del Frisco's, the steak joint, or do we eat at Bourbon, the steak joint up in the thing? And I said to Max Zapata, I said, well, the steak's going to be great at either place. The sides are what's going to decide this. I need to know about appetizers and sides. So, Chris, you pick up the story.
Well, from my point of view, Adam is walking towards me frantically, and he's going over lines, and he has a script. And for those who haven't been on movie sets, an actor will typically get something called sides, which is just his lines. So Adam walks up to me and he's like, Chris, we got to go over sides. And I thought, oh, you want to go over lines with me? All right, let's do this.
Yeah, run lines.
And then eventually it becomes apparent that, no, he wants me to call both restaurants and look at both of their menus and find out which restaurant has the better side dishes.
That's how I relieve stress moments before I walk out on stage. Other actors run sides. I talk sides.
Yeah, and then in between each time you went up on stage and came off, it was, so what's the update? What do they got?
Oh, my God.
Like you're performing in front of the world right now, and you're talking to me about mac and cheese.
Well, I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, we did.
And thankfully, I was is equally obsessed with the sides as I was with the beats and the sides of the script, right?
Yeah. You made the right choice.
We made the
Beats
right choice. Yeah.
Beats was a side option.
I got to tell everybody, I don't do the steak tartare very often. And I normally lean a little tuna tartare versus steak tartare. Good steak with the fresh chopped up red onions, small, and a quail egg. And Matt just beat it all up. And they had these toasted little squares, toasted little pie cut shapes of pita.
Mm-hmm,
goddamn delectable.
Yeah.
Goddamn delectable, right?
I've never had steak tartare.
Yeah, that was my first time.
It was killer.
Beautiful.
It was wonderful. And Matt DeAndre did a power move. He ordered a steak. He ordered a filet. Got a duck egg on top of it.
Ooh, la la!
Yeah, he was going for broke, man. It was a big night.
Was the steak not going to be rich enough? Is that what he was worried about?
I don't know. I
don't know.
The butter-covered steak.
He saw it on the menu, and he's like, I'm going.
I like that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and again, people stay away from the tartare, and sometimes they go with the tuna tartare. Do yourself a favor. When you go to a good steak place, get that steak tartare. It sounds
YOLO, man.
It sounds weird. Yes.
Oh,
you only live once.
Yes, to your point. Oh, never get the steak tartare in an average restaurant. If
Right.
you're going to some fucking Applebee's or something, I don't know if they have it, but I'm saying at the nice place, get the steak tartare.
Get it and live. And again, I don't order my steak rare. I get it medium usually. Like, I'm not the raw egg, raw whatever. I'm not that guy. Goddamn believable, right, Max Savannah?
Yeah, I'll get it anytime. But maybe I won't try the Applebee's steak tartare, though, Brian.
All right, Gina, sorry. What else you got?
Well, trick-or-treating has been on a lot of people's minds, and that is absolutely going on in New York right now and other places. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says he won't formally ban trick-or-treating this Halloween, but he won't necessarily encourage it either. In an interview he did with News 12 in Long Island on Tuesday, he said, look, I'm not going to ban it altogether. Just be smart, use your head. Springfield, Massachusetts, however, the mayor is defending his decision to ban trick-or-treating. Well, as we know, officials here in LA banned it, then freaked out and reversed it, and said they just don't recommend it. New York hasn't experienced any widespread post-reopening COVID updates. It's in the midst of a nearly 40-day streak with an infection rate below 1%. So they're doing well.
Well, I'm a little bit of a broken record, but the infection kicks in about 4 days. If it's been 2 weeks, it's not coming around since we had record-breaking heat in the valley and the entire beach filled over Labor Day, which is now coming on to, it's been 10, 11, 12 days since that was packed in. We should be seeing a spike in Los Angeles because those people weren't flying in from, Daytona Beach or anything. And if we're not getting a spike, then it's evidently okay to be outside in a large group. If, in fact, we're not getting a big spike, because that beach was nothing but humanity as far as my eye could see. Over a 3 or 4, it was packed on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and it was just nothing but humanity. So if we're not getting a spike, then it's okay to be outdoors, at least. I wouldn't risk what we did last night, a steakhouse with the steak tartare, but
no,
yes.
Don't do it.
Especially when you're in a place with a steady offshore breeze. That's not the hot spot.
No.
But that's the thing I keep saying about trick-or-treating was if Halloween was about, if there was no such thing as trick-or-treating, if Halloween was about the whole community comes together and we all pack into one airplane hangar and have a party, and that's canceled this year, the alternate would be trick-or-treating. It'd be okay, just for safety this year, put on a costume, maybe a mask, go door to door, don't go inside, they'll hand you candy, you'll move to the next house.
You are a genius, Gina, because in an alternate universe where we didn't know what trick-or-treating was, this would be prescribed as a safe way to conduct yourself that evening. This is go outside, spread it out, go to the door one at a time or whatever. Like, this would be a perfect remedy for that. It just doesn't seem that things are going on outside, and especially, the kids and whatever. All right.
Well, so that's the thing. If you have kids and they say, well, we don't recommend it, but we can't stop you, what do you prepare for? Are people going to do it?
I don't know, but I wish they had that same mindset on speeding. Like, they're like, look, I'd like you to drive slow, but there's really nothing we can do if you want to go 180. All right, Gina, why don't we bring it home and we'll do sports right after this.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.